chess friends, I hope you are doing well. Today, I am going to show you an amazing, brilliant chess game played by Mikhail Tal, in which he sacrificed his queen early in the game. Mikhail Tal is simply marvelous. I love his brilliance, his sacrifices, and also his smile. So, Mikhail Tal played this game in the USSR Championship against Robert, and I will share the tactics that he employed in the game. So, stay tuned until the end of the video. Tal started the game with d4, after knight f6 and c4, we have the queen's gambit where black can play e6, approaching the Nimzo Indian, but he decided to go with d6 because he wanted to play the modern variation against Tal. However, I think this move is considered a defensive approach. Even his opponents are afraid of Mikhail Tal. They know that Tal can sacrifice their pieces because he is just mad on the chessboard, therefore, they need to play very securely. Tal played bishop g2, and knight d7 followed in the game. Here, black can consider e5 or c5 to break through the center. After castling, we have e5 on the board because the rook can come to the e8 square. After the queen moves, the rook goes to the d1 square, which is Tal's approach. You may wonder why the rook goes to d1 and not e1. The reason is very clear. Tal wants to play e4, keeping the e-file closed. By playing rook d1, he gets the opportunity to put the rook directly in front of the queen. So, c6 was played to open up the file for the queen, then b3 was considered, where Tal can fianchetto his bishop on b2. We have queen c7 and e4 in the game. Alright, this is the best response to the modern variation. After a6, a3 was played to get access to this diagonal. Here, Robert made a very inaccurate move, c5. Why play this move? It created a hole on d5. Now Tal decided to capture the pawn, and after capturing, we have b4, forcing the knight to move. Tal then played his first sacrifice. Noticing that the knight could come to d4, Tal played c5 himself, sacrificing the pawn. Do you know why? Because after capturing, Tal does not intend to capture the pawn. It's the beauty of Tal's play that he sacrifices his pawns and doesn't exchange pieces early. He plays for positional advantages and develops his knight with tempo. Therefore, after exchanges, the knight comes under attack, and where should Robert place the knight? Robert made a brilliant move too, capturing the pawn on b4 and sacrificing his queen right in front of Tal. He thought, if Mikhail Tal can sacrifice his pieces, why not me? Tal captured the queen, but if he dared to do so, then after exchanges, the bishop would be under attack. Therefore, after the capture, white can play e4, attacking both the knight and the rook simultaneously. So, capturing the queen is not ideal. Instead, we have queen a4 after the bishop's capture, and we have a5, attacking the queen. What should you do now? Tal is a master in his own chess world. In his time, Tal was very famous. If he went to a restaurant or a mall to buy milk or bananas, everyone would recognize him and ask for his autograph because he had built a great reputation. Now, he captured the piece on e6, sacrificing his queen right in front of his opponent. Robert captured the queen because the bishop was now under attack. Noticing that black could play e4, attacking both the rook and the knight simultaneously, black, with the queen, could make any player with white pieces very stressed, leading them to blunder and resign. But Tal is Mikhail Tal. He played rook takes d7, gaining tempo on the queen. Now, Robert should capture the rook on d7, and after capturing, the rook moves. With e4, white could attack the rook, forcing a knight sacrifice, and the game would continue like this. But in our actual game, instead of capturing the rook, Robert played queen c3. Now Tal has another opportunity to capture the pawn on f7. Apparently, Tal analyzed all the moves that would happen in the game. You can see how Tal is leading the game. With every move, he played with tempo, attacking black. Black should have played king h8, but he played king f8, which is not ideal because after a capture occurred, some may consider rook c1, trapping the queen on the board. Literally, it traps the queen. However, Robert could also sacrifice his queen to capture the rook, and with a material advantage, black would win. So, let me share a motivational quote in sudden with you. Sometimes you need to take a break from everyone and spend time alone to experience, appreciate, and love yourself. So, going back to the original position, Mikhail Tal needed to play more consistently, so he played rook d1, getting access to the d file. You can see how these pieces create so much pressure on black's position. Black needs to secure his king first, so he moved the bishop to f6 to protect it from the rook's attack. Tal then moved his bishop back to c1, opening the diagonal where knight g5 becomes possible. We have rook takes a2, and now knight g5 arrives on the board. Many players might think that when they are materially up with a queen, they should exchange all pieces to win, but this is not a universal law, and it doesn't apply to Mikhail Tal. He can even checkmate with a single pawn, despite having lost his entire army. In this position, after some checks, the king will be checkmated. Going back to the original position, instead of capturing the knight, we have queen c2, which is a big blunder because Tal now plays knight e4, protecting the pawn and attacking the bishop simultaneously. This position is over for black because Tal sacrifices another rook on e7, forcing a capture. Then we have bishop g5 check. The king cannot move to e6 because bishop h6 would check it. The rook can move to d6 if needed, resulting in checkmate. After the king moves back to f8, then to g7, and finally to h8 in a sequence of moves. Tal plays h4 to create some bathroom for his king, allowing it space to avoid attack. After a few moves, you can see the knight can move to f7. After queen takes f2, which was a blunder, we have a check, followed by a bishop check, forcing the king to move up. Then, we have rook takes d1, leaving Tal with 4 pieces on the board. This position is completely winning for Tal because, after some exchanges, we have bishop c4. Eventually, Robert was forced to resign because he had nothing left to do in this position. At the end of the day, Tal is materially up, and you'll need some IQ juice to play chess with such brilliance. And that's all for next time with Mikhail Tal. I hope you enjoyed the game very much. If so, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye, take care, and see you soon.